Hello, everybody. This is Richard RJ Eskow, and this is the Zero Hour. You know, I listened to the president's economic speech this week, and all I could think as he was speaking was, why can't Barack Obama be a little bit more like Keith Richards? I'm thinking specifically of Keith Richards the way he was at Altamont. You know, you might have seen the movie Gimme Shelter. When the Hells Angels started beating people with pool cues and going crazy, Mick was vague and airy-fairy, and he kept saying that, oh people, why can't we love each other? Oh babies, why can't we get along? Keith, and remember, tragically, these guys killed somebody. It was Keith who would point it at them and say, hey, you, cut it out. That guy, I'm talking about that guy right there. Yeah, you, stop it. Keith had the guts to call those guys out, even at personal danger to himself. Now, the president went to Northwestern University and he said wonderful things about how it's young people like you and universities like this that will shape America's economy and set the conditions for middle-class growth in the 21st century. All that's well and good. But first of all, before we get to the economics of it, I gotta say, it didn't sit well with me when the president said this, quote, when alarms go off somewhere in the world, whether the disaster is natural or man-made, where an idea or invention can make a difference, the world calls America. This is the president speaking. Quote, not Moscow, not Beijing, but us, the United States of America, and we welcome that responsibility. That's who we are. That's how we roll, end quote. Now, first of all, somebody's told the president to say that's how we roll because he said it on TV the other night too, but I kept thinking, look, Mr. President, you had the guts not to wear a flag pin in 2008 when all the other politicians were doing it. I wish you had the guts to stand up to this idiotic jingoism and militarism when it really counts and keep us out of some more of these pointless foreign interventions. The president went on to talk about the job creation statistics in his administration, which are positive. There has been job growth, but it hasn't made up for our expanding population, and most of all, it hasn't made up for the devastating loss of jobs that took place after Wall Street ruined the economy in 2008. And I'll tell you something else. The richest people in this country are doing great. They've gotten all of the advantages of the recovery that was created by the government after 2008, while the rest of us have actually fallen behind. So the president then went on to say he'd like to do more to create jobs, he'd like to do more about infrastructure. All good ideas, very modest. He's not being bold. I wish he would be bold about his proposals, but his proposals are reasonable. But the question keeps coming up in my mind as he's speaking. Well then, what's stopping you, Mr. President? Who's stopping you? Who's the biker gang that's blocking the way from helping the American people? So the president went on his economic talk. I have to say, I do this for a living, but for the average listener, it would have been pretty endless. And he concluded by talking about inequality and saying once again, as he did a few months ago, this is the defining challenge of our time. We have to make our economy work for every working American. And I gotta say, then why aren't you doing it? Who's blocking your way? Who's that guy? I want you to point to him. I want you to say, it's that guy, the one with the orange tan, the one with the leather vest and no shirt and a pool cue in his hand, who's standing in the House of Congress, presiding over as that House's speaker, who's standing in your way. The president went on to talk about the Affordable Care Act, how double-digit premium increases were common before it came along, how it's slowed the rate of cost increase. Well, that's a tough sell, a slowdown in the rising cost of health care, because Americans aren't seeing the savings. What they may save in premium costs is taken away from them in out-of-pocket cost sharing when they have to get medical care. The average American family, according to an actuarial study, pays $20,000 per year out of pocket for premiums and healthcare costs. Mr. President, that's an emergency for people. What are we going to do about that? In healthcare, the president also said that in the last year, we've reduced the share of uninsured Americans by 26%. Don't get me wrong, that's a good thing. But it's not universal coverage. We were having a conversation about universal coverage 5 years ago. How do we get there? Will someone tell us the truth about that? Now, the president went on to say that as a result of this, government costs are down, and that's, he says, to use his words, a game changer for the fourth cornerstone of this new foundation of the economy, getting our fiscal house in order. And he said, and I credit him for this, in fact, I want to say hooray, he said we have to stop this insane obsession with austerity in Washington. Great. but he'd bought into it for many years, and even the words he had just spoken kind of bought into it too. If it's mindless, which is the word he used, and he's right about that, why does he also call it a cornerstone of building the new economy? So look, the president went on to say this, and this probably didn't go over as well as he might have hoped. He said, for the first time in more than a decade, business leaders from around the world have said that the world's most attractive place to invest isn't India or China, but the United States of America. End quote. Now, I get what he's driving at, that maybe that will create jobs, maybe that will lead to opportunity. But the reaction most people are going to have is, sure it is, because corporations are getting rich while the rest of us struggle. He's got to stay focused on the job. Now he goes on to talk about good ideas for education, good ideas for making homeownership more affordable, and so on. Although I got to say, not every education idea was good, but apprentice not crazy about, but he talked about raising the minimum wage. He's got to say he said some good things, and he did finally point out that the Republicans are standing in his way. But by the time he was talking about the Republicans standing in his way, he was 6 pages into a 7-page speech. He's lost his audience by then. He also used the word gridlock, saying if gridlock prevails. Now, let me tell you, gridlock is a word that should be banned for all Democrats forever. Gridlock is a synonym for Mick Jagger saying, oh, people, why can't we all love each other? Don't ever say gridlock, Democrats. Say the corporations won't let us. Say the Republicans won't let us. Say, I don't really want to do it, if that's the truth. But please, Mr. President, please, Democrats, never, 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 ever use the word gridlock again. Now, as I said, for a brief moment it got better, because he said when push comes to shove this year and Republicans actually had a chance to take a stand on policy to help the middle class and working Americans, and he lists a number of them, the answer was no. Okay, Mr. President, you're warming up now, but most of your audience was already lost. He said, I believe in a higher principle. We're all in this together. But you know what? That, again, that's Mick, not Keith. And by the time he got to these words, thank you, God bless you, and God bless America, I tell you, people, I was just thinking Keith would have told it a lot more directly and taken a lot less time to do it. Now, I don't know why the president acts this way. Sure, I guess he wants to work with the Republicans, but they're not working with him. I don't know if he doesn't call these guys out because he needs to cooperate with them or because he doesn't really believe in these policies, but whatever his reasoning, I got to tell you, folks, politics nowadays isn't Woodstock. It's not 3 days of love. Politics these days is Altamont. It's their satanic majesty's request. It's goat's head soup. It's Mitch McConnell and John Boehner dancing on a string while Charles M. Koch sings, please allow me to introduce myself. Now, I don't go around knocking Mick Jagger. He's great. He's great. But at Altamont, it was Keith who talked straight, and that's what we need now from somebody in politics, somebody who will talk straight. You know who's Keith Richards right now? Elizabeth Warren. I wonder if she plays guitar. And now, please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and this is The Zero Hour.